Hey sweet friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be doing something super fun and very highly requested, and that is I'm going to show you how to make your own custom script stickers. So I have gotten this request a ton. I've showed this a couple times, like briefly in some like design with me's for my weekly kits, my monthly kits, but I wanted to really give you guys one video where I showed you exactly what I do, so that it would be a little easier for you to follow, I think. At least if you're struggling with script stickers, it will be. So that's what we're going to do. Before we start, I want to preface this by saying that I do have a Silhouette Cameo 4, and I am using Silhouette Studio. I believe mine is like the 4.4 version of it. I just found that one worked best for me, so that's what I use. So I think that's it that I need to preface this with. So let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see, I just have opened a blank page. If you go over here to your little page setup, I just have my 12 by 12 mat and then a letter size, so 8.5 by 11 is for my paper because that's what my sticker paper will be. I do have it show the cut border just because I like to see that where I can keep everything inside. And I also have registration marks turned on. That way it kind of helps me know where my boundaries are. You don't have to have it that way, but that's just what I prefer. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So I'm going to show you two styles. So one style is actually going to be a script font, like a more cursive-y type font, and then one is going to be a not cursive font. So we'll start with the cursive font because that's typically what you think of when you think of a script sticker, right? So the first thing I clicked on was the little A over here to give me a text box. Before I even click or start typing, I'm going to go ahead and change my font. I use the font Magnolia. You can find this on Etsy. I'll also have it linked in the description box. I'll have both of the fonts that I'm going to use. Both of them came from Etsy, so I'll link them for you. But I'm using Magnolia. I'm also going to go ahead and change this color to black. And my cut line, I don't want it to have any, so I'm just going to set that to nothing. And then all I'm going to do is come over here. We're going to click, and we're going to start typing. So I'm just going to pretend that I'm making a weekend banner. All right. So let's say that I wanted the word weekend. So I've typed it out. We're good to go, right? So now what I need to be able to do is change the size of this, but I don't want to necessarily change the font size. So what I'm going to do is come up here and ungroup it so that it makes each individual letter by itself. And I'm not going to do anything. All I'm going to do is grab it all back and group it together. And now you get the width and height option to change, how big it is. I am going to lock the dimensions because I don't want that to change. And then I can make it however big I wanted it to be. So it really just depends on what you're making your script sticker for. I'm going to keep mine fairly large for us just so that we can see it a little bit better. But it really does truly depend on what you're making it for. If you're making it very small, then you might want to have the height be like under 0. Usually what I do is 0.17. I know that got really tiny, that's why I'm not going to do it like that. I am going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it for a second, but that got really small. But that is what I use for, like, if I'm making a regular, not cursive font. If I'm using my other font, I use 0.17 for the height, so that it kind of fits in those lines in a Erin Condren planner. So I can use it for like a to-do sticker or to-go, to call. If you've watched my weekly plan with me, you know what I'm talking about. I use them on the sidebars, or I use them like some of mine say church, that kind of thing. So that's what I use. I don't ever mess with the width. I always just change the height because width is just going to depend on, how many letters you have in the word and what font you're using. So I usually just depend on height. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just so we can kind of, see what's going on again. So now that I've got my actual word where I want it, and we're going to pretend that I sized it to be exactly this size, like this is what I wanted, I'm going to come over here and use this little star. So this is going to open the offset panel. With my word grouped together and with it chosen, I'm going to hit offset. Now, it's very important that you don't click off of your word at this point until you get your offset exactly what you want. If you click off your word, then you have to delete your offset and start over. At least that's how I found how to do it. So you don't want to click off your word. So I hit offset without clicking anything else. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to choose a color for my offset. Now, typically I would do white. But if I do white on the white paper, you're not really going to be able to see it right now. So I'm going to do red. That way you can at least see it. I also always give my stickers a red outline. That way when I send it to the cutter, I can tell it to cut the red outline as a kiss cut sticker so that it won't cut all the way through the paper. So that's just kind of a little tip for how I do that. But that's not really what we're here for today. So anyways, though, I am going to set it to red just for right now. Typically, I would have the fill of my offset be white, though. To change the size of your offset, you're just going to come over here. So I use these little like arrows. I don't necessarily type in a certain thing unless I'm trying to make it a specific height again, and that's just something you play with and get what you like and how you feel about it. But you can size it up or down. I usually try to make it kind of small because I don't want my offset to be huge. We're gonna go right there. So we're gonna go with this 0.80. Why is it not staying on 0.80? Okay, well, we're going to go 0.8085. So I'm now going to click off of it. So now everything is applied. You can see that I have this little white triangular box open right here. We don't want that. We don't want our, cutter to cut through that little box and us have to deal with that. So what I'm going to do is double click. It's going to pop up all these little boxes. And you're just going to choose the ones that you're wanting to get rid of. So I'm just going to choose them and then come over here and hit delete. So now you can see that's gone. It won't cut through that. So now that I've finished that, all I have to do at this point is grab everything and group it together. So now I have one sticker and I can size this to be however big I want it, however small I want it. Doesn't really matter at this point. I could size it to be whatever. So that is how you make your regular like cursive script sticker. So now again, like I said, I am going to show you two different ways. So I'm going to show you now how I do my regular font stickers. So again, I'm going to choose text. I'm going to come up here and change it to the FB Basic Betty. I also use Gen Plans a lot, but I found the Basic Betty font kind of reminds me of a Ray Dunn font. It's kind of that long, stretched out, skinny letter. That seems to work best to make script stickers with. Like if you want it to say like to do or to go and for them all to kind of be the same size, that works the best for me. So I'm going to make this one say weekend as well, just so that we kind of use the same thing all over. So I have it typed out. Now, I'm not necessarily would do this with this word, but I want to show you how to do this in case you run across this problem. If you ever go to make your offset, and let's say you have two words. So let's say you said the weekend, and it left too big of a gap between the and weekend, I can show you how to kind of delete that gap. So before you do your offset, you're going to come up here anyways and ungroup it, just like we did the other time. Now you could choose to move your letters closer together. So I always start with the end letter and then I just kind of grab and move them all the way across as close as you want them to be. This is kind of just your personal preference and what you like. So as you can see now our word is a little more squished. So I can grab everything and group it back together. Here is where I would play with my sizing. If I wanted to, we're going to just drag it and make it a little bit bigger so that we can see it. And there we have it. But again, size is up to you and what you're using it for. I would just measure whatever you're trying to do, measure the space that you're trying to put it in to do that. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is the same process we just went through. So I'm going to go over to my offset panel. With my word selected, I'm going to hit offset. And again, I would typically do white, but this time we're going to do pink just because I want to see what that would look like in a red outline. All right, I am going to make it a little bit smaller, which we can see is going to be a bigger issue this time than it was last time, but that's okay. We're going to go with right there. All right, so what I'm going to do to get rid of these boxes, again, is double click, choose the little points that I want to delete, and as you can tell, it gets rid of all of them real quickly. You just have to kind of keep hitting delete over and over again. Until you get everything that you don't want to cut. You can kind of just close it all up. Uh-oh, I missed that one. So I'm going to get rid of all of these white boxes because again, I don't want any of these to cut. Also, at this point, even though I have all my white boxes, if I wanted to get rid of like where it's cutting into the end, all you would have to do is choose that last little dot and then hit delete, and it'll pull it out like that. I don't really care as much if it does that. I don't mind the way it looks to be like this, but if you do, then that's how you would get rid of that. So at this point, I have that sized, so now I'm going to grab everything, group it together, and then I can size it up or size it down, depending on what I need it for. So basically, that is it in a nutshell. I know that's just been a highly requested video, so that's why I really wanted to show you guys how to do the offset and how to make these stickers. And I thought it would be fun to show 2 different ways. So those are the 2 fonts that I use the most. If I do make a weekend sticker, I do it in that font, in the Magnolia. And if I'm making my just regular to-do or to-go or church stickers or vacuum or clean house or whatever it might be for my weekly stickers, I will use this FB Basic Betty. So like I said, I will have both of those linked in the description box for you. If you have any other questions on how I made these script stickers, then definitely leave it in the comments below if there's something I missed that you wanted to add, or that's something I didn't show that you wanted to see, or if there's any other specific design videos you want to see, like me doing these script stickers. If there's something really specific you want to know how I make, definitely leave that in the comments and I'll do my best to make a video on it, or at least try to help you kind of explain it to you so that you can make your own stickers. So I hope you guys found this video helpful and enjoyable. If you did, make sure you like it and give it a thumbs up and subscribe is what I meant to say. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Alright, bye guys!